You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Welcome, listeners, to another episode of All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on BQN and the Fandom Podcast Network. I'm your host, Kristin, and with me today, fresh from Vegas, or actually still kind of in Vegas for one of us, Amy, Christos, and Kelvin. Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Oh, full house, all four of us. It's been a few weeks.
It has been. The summers have taken us abroad and everywhere else in between, so here we are. So, Amy, my love, how are you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have just completed my first week of school, got to meet my new students. Love them. They are troubled. If you have any school-age children, please give them all the loves. I've had to do a lot this week. It was a lot. I'm just saying. So, but I'm good and I'm here and yes, ready to talk Star Trek.
Yes. And Kelvin, how is the UK going?
The UK's okay, certainly the parts that I'm involved with. I went back to work on Wednesday after Vegas, so I only did a 3-day week last week, and then straight into a cottage weekend in the countryside, Friday night and Saturday, with Lewis and Alex, who you guys met in Sitges. So me and James only got home a couple of hours ago. It's just been non-stop, and work is really in the way.
It is, yes.
I think work is always in the way of life, but I think that's the way it should be. That's how we create capacity and build the resiliency to deal with the bullcrap of just what we have to do to pay to be alive.
Yes.
Yes. And Christos, you are joining us from West. How is Hawaii?
It's good. It's very early here. It's just 7 a.m, but I got back from STLV on Monday afternoon, and by Wednesday morning I was off to Hawaii, and that included some time in the office and whatnot. So I didn't even put my suitcase away. It was dump everything, wash, and pack some aloha shirts and get out the door again. So
There you go.
I can sympathize with everybody's hustle and bustle feeling.
Good.
And Kristin, how are you? How was Romania and Scotland?
Yes, please tell us.
So Romania, it changed me as a human being. Definitely did. On the one, like, I went there with this whole preconceived notion of what I was going to see. And I very early on realized that I needed to check my privilege at the airport. So while on the one hand, I see that, yes, genetically speaking, I am very Romanian. Every girl there my age, we look like we could be related, right? It was just a lot. And aesthetically, I see why I've always been drawn to the style I've been drawn to. It's everywhere. But I am lucky enough that I was born in Canada and that I did not go through the trauma that country has very recently gone through. So people my age were 5 years old, and on their 5th Christmas, their country dragged their leader out into the city square and shot them live on TV. Like, that's what this country is still reeling from. And so when I went there expecting everyone to be bubbly and happy, I had to realize that I have not lived in a country that has gone through that kind of upheaval. So I had to check that. But overall, it was amazing. We went to this one place in Brasov called the Black Church. And it's a church that caught on fire in the 1400s, and everything inside burned, but the outside walls did not.
Wow.
So they just charred. And so they rebuilt the church inside, but left the walls standing. And it's the most amazing piece of architecture I've ever seen. And then it just happened to be that when we went to do our tour, there was a choir practicing. And so they were singing Bach in Romanian, and it was just filling the whole space, and it was
Oh,
like I
Mm.
just sat there in the pew and I cried. It was so stunning. But Scotland has our hearts 100%. And actually, Kelvin, you'll be interested to know we are planning to go back this next year.
Oh,
And Justin wants to start meeting music schools and talking about job opportunities and what it would
oh,
look like for us to relocate to Scotland.
wow, you're doing it.
Up.
He was he just he loved it. He loved I have never seen him that giddy.
Wow.
aw.
So, yeah, we may be hopping over the ponds.
Yay!
Oh,
Recording all the things in the evening is so much easier than in the morning.
I
You'll
was
love
saying,
it.
it's funny. They're going to Scotland. I'm seriously considering Spain. This whole podcast might just move to Europe, and Amy will be the outsider. It'll flip. You'll become the Kelvin.
You know,
no, I want to be in Italy. I'm just saying.
oh, there we
Oh,
go.
wow.
I think a lot of us may be done with North America.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. Christos,
yeah,
though, I agree. I could live in Sieges. I
yeah.
could live
I
there.
mean,
Yeah.
I felt so at home. In
Yeah.
fact, it's just everything. I mean, the food. Even for me being vegan, the food was really good.
Hmm.
The people. I was surprised at how well I did with my Spanish, and I'm just continuing to get better at that. The European clothes, the attitudes, the
Oh,
pace of
yeah.
life.
The
It
pace.
just. Yeah, and Amy, I got to wear one of my new shirts last night that you helped pick out. That was so I had a little flashback to us shopping together. So yeah, I was just, I'm like, and I could do it. I'm an EU citizen, so
There you go. That's just it. Like nothing gets started before 10 a.m. Bless. That is my pace for sure. So, and the cost of groceries
Yeah.
there,
Oh, yeah.
I I still am telling people like we went and we bought so much food for our Airbnb and it was pennies compared to what we
Mhm.
pay here, including lots of wine. Like I want to give a shout out to Spain
Yes.
right now and their very amazing prices on bottles of wine.
And
Dude,
good.
and good
Good
yeah.
wine.
bottles.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember we were opening it and we're like, is this gonna be vinegar? It was not vinegar.
It was not.
No, no. Okay, let's jump into some episode recap because we do have live new Trek airing right now. So
Yeah.
I will say I have not watched any of the new season of Strange New Worlds. And listeners, I am happy to tell you why. My brain does not work well with as much stuff as they have to pack into each episode. It's not as slow paced as Next Gen, where you could go week to week and be okay. So I wait until there's chunks of like 5 episodes and then I binge them all so that
Oh, you
my
did
my
that
brain can
with
stay on
Prodigy,
track.
didn't you?
Yes, I did that with Lower Decks. I did it with Discovery. I've done it with all of them. So now that the first 5 episodes are out, I will be binging. So I'll be caught up and ready for next week. But let's keep our recap maybe a little light for listeners
Yeah, see
who,
if we can do it a little spoilery free.
yeah.
So with STLV falling, we actually have 2 episodes to talk about. So there was episode 5 and episode 6. So yeah, through the lens of time. So this was the episode that dropped during STLV. And I know for me, I had these grand plans of saying, are we going to watch it in the room? Are we going to have a room party? And we just never got around to it. And I think we knew the tone of the episode was a bit of a dark one. It wasn't fun. So it's not really one that you'd all have drinks with and have a laugh. It was quite dark. So I was a little bit stressed that I only ended up watching the episode on Tuesday when I got
Yeah.
back home. So I did see a couple of spoilers on the internet, unfortunately, but I enjoyed the episode. What do you think,
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah, I also, it's funny, we were at the convention, but it's like Strange New World took a back seat because we just did not have time to
Yeah.
watch it. I wasn't until Sunday because I wasn't at the convention that I watched it before coming down, but I really enjoyed the story. There's definitely some series that episode could go into, which I really enjoyed. I guess I won't say which ones, but there, and I love how like it's very similar to other episodes. I'm seeing that, especially, yeah, like, well, I'm just gonna say it. Sorry, Power Play, TNG's Power Play, very similar to me, and so I thought it just was really good. I'm loving the actors and like how they are portraying and the chemistry that they have on screen. Like,
Yeah.
Mbenga, I'm just falling in love with him.
Oh, wow.
I love him.
What did you think, Christos?
I finally got to watch that episode on my iPhone on the airplane ride out here on Wednesday. That's how bad I was. And I think the reason we don't watch it in the rooms is we're all so tired that we're all afraid that if we sit down on a couch, we're going to pass out and go to sleep. Because there was a couple of times it was suggested, and I was like, oh, hell no, we're not going to go sit on a couch because I'll put my feet up and you're going to be 10 minutes in, I'm going to be snoring. And anyways, I enjoyed the episode a lot. I thought it was a good, I've personally thought season 5 has been a little up and down for me personally. And I thought this was a good back on track episode for me, a strange new world, as they say, a mission. So I was really happy about that. And I love the way they're, with the Corby, the storyline is kind of coming back into it a little bit. So I did have one major issue, and I mean, it's a little spoiler. It's not spoilery, but it's a good talking point. But I guess I'll just say this. They keep busting up canon a lot, and they're doing it in a way that it's not just explained away why you're talking about being able to do things that we couldn't even do in the next generation, but they can suddenly do it in Strange New Worlds. And I'm really starting to have a hard time with that. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. A certain piece of medical technology.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say that the theme of the episode, it was very Indiana Jones. It was a Nurse Chapel episode. She was center stage and she was Lara Croft, Indiana Jones. And it was, an archaeology expedition with a subplot of alien possession. It was just a really good quality sci-fi episode.
Yeah. One thing I'll say about this whole season, and just kind of more of an overview glance, and it's a really good thing. Characters like La'an and Chapel and Mbenga, who I was just kind of meh, they're just kind of mid to me. They're not the stars of the show. I not necessarily care a lot about their characters. That's really shifted for me this season, and I really am enjoying their characters and their screen time and whatnot. So I noticed that it was like with the previous episode with La'an and whatnot, and now this episode being more of a a little bit focused on Mbenga and Chapel. I'm like, all right, I could do it. It kind of reminds me that I like it when it's more of the ensemble. Give me that TNG feel, give me that Voyager feel, and Strange New Worlds have been getting back to that a little bit.
Brilliant. So who's seen episode 6 then? Have you watched it yet, Christos? No?
I'm watching it after this. That's kind of funny.
We'll have to keep this very light. I don't think it's not spoilery at all, this episode. It is just an episode where Kirk has to take command because the captain of the Farragut is incapacitated. And that's it. It's the trials and tribulations of Kirk's first experience of being the captain, albeit honorary. So there's no spoilery. There's a little bit of a twist at the end. That's kind of it.
I have a question for you, Kelvin. I've been getting those Fan Home starships, and they're collecting on my shelf. And there's even down to a point where I haven't opened a few, and I've left them in the box. And one of them is the Farragut. Am I going? And I actually possess a model of the Farragut. Am I going to want to keep it after watching this episode?
I guess so. I mean, it gets pretty battered, but
yes,
they just keep saying, "Oh, we'll just drag it back to Starbase 1 and it'll get rebuilt again." But I think it has its nacelles ripped off at one point in the episode. It gets pretty badly banged up. What I didn't like, and I thought this was a bit cheap. the bridge of the Farragut is exactly the same as the Enterprise bridge, and I just thought they could have done something to distinguish it a little bit.
Yeah. Nice.
I thought the episode was like movie quality. Like it felt very intense. I was in it. And from each story to each person, it just all fit together. They were solving this huge problem on two different ships and working together. Like it really felt like a Beyond movie, just them collaborating and working together. It has a great Star Trek story moral to it, like twist at the end, as you were saying, which just, again, call back to TOS and TNG. Like I just loved it. So I really enjoyed this episode. And Christos, wasn't it you that were saying that the actors were saying that this was their favorite episode of the season, or that they thought that the fans would like this one the best?
I think that was me.
Oh, okay, Kelvin.
One of the panels, they because they forget they're so far ahead in the filming, and they were saying to him, "Which one's this one? Which one's next week?" And they said episode 6. What? And you could see Jess Bush took the microphone away from her mouth because Babs turned around and said, "Which one was that?" And she had to whisper in his ear, "What happened?" And he went, "Oh, I love that one." But it had a big build up, and I'm not saying I was disappointed because it was really good, but I still don't think it's as good as episode 2. Episode 2 is my favorite so far.
That's the wedding, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to jump in here and take over for just a quick second. So did everyone keep up with the Paramount news this week? Little news section here. So Paramount had its first investor call since Skydance basically took over Paramount, and I can safely say Star Trek is going to be safe. They're going to fast track 2 movies into production, and they want to bring it more like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where what's happening on TV and what's happening in movies is aligning and whatnot. So I think Star Trek as an IP is going to be good. And I think as they get their stuff together, I think we're gonna go elevating in how much Star Trek we're getting instead of declining the way we have been. So I think we have a lot to look forward to.
If we can just get our president out of Paramount, that would be great.
Well,
yeah,
It's tough. It's tough.
He's everywhere.
Including in Alaska.
Yeah. After this season of Strange New Worlds, I may unsubscribe from Paramount Plus and not give certain people my money anymore. I've already gotten rid of Amazon Prime, and let me tell you, when you don't have Amazon hanging over your head all the time, life is very simple. Very simple.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole fewer streaming options, the better. But I am excited about Star Trek movies. I would love to see them in theater, though.
Yeah, no, that's what they're talking about. They want to go back to the big screen. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Good. I'm sorry. When I said movies, I meant like we're back to like the big screen.
So
not Section 31.
Not Section. I mean, you know what? That would not be the end of the world. I mean, I wouldn't mind if you're going to do big screen adventures as movies and maybe some TV movies. If I were at the helm, I would be doing both.
I think Star Trek would lend well to the fad of miniseries, right? Where you have how many episodes of just really good content that makes up like a trilogy type movie, but just it airs in a way that is easily digestible for the watcher. That's what I think would be cool. Or what about they did like an American Horror Story type anthology where every season is a different part of Trek, but the overarching theme is the same.
It's so funny, Kristin. 2 things there. Let's see here. What was I going to say? The Discovery was supposed to be an anthology series. It was going to change every year. Yeah, and Oh, I just lost my other point. It's so early here. Mhm. Yeah, it's gone.
It'll
Okay.
come to him.
Yeah, it does just interrupt. But I'm very excited then to jump into the new season this week and get some caught up, because yeah, I have a lot of questions from the last season that I need answered ASAP. So we'll see what's done. And already the first half of the season, I guess, is already over. So today, our main topic though is I'm trying not to have FOMO here, but the convention recap of STLV, or Trek to Vegas 2025, as it's known by creation. So for those of us who've never been and who maybe don't understand what this convention really is, let's do a quick little recap about what this is. So, what is STLV, Amy? Can you give us a little rundown?
Well, it is the largest Star Trek convention in the world. Happens here in Las Vegas with Creation Entertainment. And this year it was August 6th through the 10th, 5 days. They did 5 days for the 50th back in 16, and they've had 5 days like here and there. So I was surprised that it went back to 5 days, because it'll be 5 days next year. It's held almost exclusively at the Rio Hotel. For 1 year, it was at Bally's during COVID, and it was originally started at the Las Vegas Hilton, which has changed its name to Westgate. But it is at the Rio Hotel, and you can buy tickets. There's like gold tickets, captains, copper, general, and then you have daily passes. And there were over 150 celebrity guests in attendance, and we did surprisingly got this last minute swap. Unfortunately, Colmini had to cancel, but we got Scott Bakula. I couldn't even believe it. It was so amazing. What a get. I've not seen Scott Bakula at a Creation Entertainment event.
I think it's his first con in 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. His last con was the one before my first.
Huh. So with the different tickets, do they have different perks to them? I'm assuming if you buy the higher ones, I'm hoping you get something for your extra money.
You get really a lot with these ticketed events. Like the gold, I haven't ever purchased, but you get a lot of photo ops with the full crew, and you get a lot of autographs that are already included. You get you choose your seat in the main theater. You get early access to the vendors room, which is a huge thing because things really go out quickly. You get the early entrance to the exhibits that are there. So there is a lot involved with these tickets. It's all inclusive, I believe. Oh, and you get like they have evening events. So they have like a gala and stuff like that, Klingon karaoke and stuff like that. That's you get admission into.
That sounds amazing, Amy. That it's nice that you get so much for what you're paying. So I remember when I did the 25th anniversary Star Trek convention that was held in, of all places, Calgary, Alberta. And this would have been about 2010, 2011. And they had the same ticket prices, but I could not believe what they cost because they were so inexpensive. So daily passes were $25.
Wow.
And the gold, like we bought the top one because it was $150 each for the whole weekend. Budging in line, photo ops, everything. So are the tickets affordable, or do you find that they get kind of jacked up in price?
Well, they are I don't it's expensive.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, we're talking, what was gold this year? Like
Oh, I didn't even
1,000?
look because
It was
I
a
only ever
thousand,
would
I
entertain
think.
general admission.
Yeah.
Okay.
And general admission, y- I mean, what is it now? Is it 320, 350?
Yeah, something
Oh,
like that.
It's
It was about £250. So yeah, whatever
yeah,
that
it's
is.
around 300 for the weekend general admission. My daily pass was $70.
What I will say for STLV, in comparison to other conventions like Destination Trek we have here in the UK, when we buy our general admission, it literally just gets you into the vendors hall. Whereas at STLV, you get to go into the auditoriums, the different theatres, you listen to all the panels, it's all included. You can go into the all of the rooms where they have the art exhibitions, etc. So yes, it is expensive, but I would argue you get a lot more at
okay.
STLV for your money.
Okay. But Kelvin, if you're so for Canadian listeners, because I just came back from the UK not long ago, so if you're paying £250, that would be 500 Canadian dollars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Our exchange rate leaves a lot to be desired. And
Yeah,
by
it
I mean a
is
lot.
expensive.
Yeah.
SDLV is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christos, so what makes up STLV? What do you do with all of the time that once you get through those doors, then what?
Just talk to your friends. No. So when you go through the doors, I mean, there's various things, and kind of parlaying a little bit after what Kelvin was just saying. There is a couple of theaters, including what we would call the main stage, where throughout the day, actors, various combinations of actors, production people are doing panels throughout the day, and that's just kind of going all day on the main stage. And then they have like the smaller theater, which I think Trexperts has taken over the last couple of years. And they do a lot of panels, including like, some of the panels that are being run by some of the popular podcasts, especially, and they're around that. I know one, for example, I really enjoyed was like Trek in Politics, or Politics in Trek, and it was an ensemble of people like Marielle Trump was there, and Mary McDonnell from Battlestar Galactica, and Tim Russ and Chase Masterson. And so you're literally just talking about how Star Trek and politics interweave each other. So you'll have things that really depth level, and then you'll have like just more of the fandom type podcast, or fandom conversations. There's this little loungy area called Vix, and you can get in there and get some food. It's not the best, definitely not much for the vegans of the world or vegetarians, but they also have a small stage in there, and even there, like I think the seating maybe is for like 50 or 60 people, but they have some small chats going on throughout the con there. um you have like exhibitor areas, like Roddenberry had its whole really cool virtual reality AI type of experience that I know Kelvin and I did. I don't know if Amy got around to it. But I was literally, you put these glasses on and it was like pick your environment. So for example, I was able to go use these virtual reality augmentation, and I was walking around Beverly Crusher's sick bay. And it was real. I was on that sick bay. I walked, you could walk throughout it, like including just like walking all the way around the desk and like sitting behind her desk. And it's like the reality is there. You look down, every detail is there. It was like you were in it. Including, and then we did some other realities of that. And then you have like the big vendors room, and that's kind of where the action of the con is going on most of the time. There's lots and lots of vendors in there selling any kind of Star Trek related thing you can think of. Some of it is just real products, some of it is like homemade stuff, crafts and whatnot. And then in there are most of the actors who are signing autographs, who are you could do in the vendor's room, you can usually get an autograph, or you can do like a selfie with the artist and or the actor. And keep in mind too, it's not, the creation brings in a little bit more than just Star Trek people. Like They brought in some Star Wars people this year. For the second year, they've been bringing in some BSG actors and whatnot. So kind of like a little bit sci-fi adjacent. And then throughout the entire con are photo ops that are just going on like ad nauseum. So and there was this year was Voyager's 30th anniversary, so it was a little more Voyager focused. So um, the entire Voyager cast was there, minus Cass. I forget her name.
Jennifer.
Um, Jennifer Lean. Yeah. So, and then like, so that you could do like a big cast photo with everybody in Voyager, and then there was like every combination of actors you could think of to take photo op. So and those just go on all day. So that's kind of what goes on during the day. They do some things at night, whether it's music oriented and whatnot, these little galas and whatnot. So those are fun. They're usually ticketed separately. So unless you're one of those copper or gold people, you have to purchase those tickets separately. Um, and then outside the con in the hotel, like you have like the masquerade bar, which is just by about 5 in the afternoon till about 4 in the morning is taken over by Trekkies. And this year, for the first time, the Rio's been going under, I call it a little bit of lipstick renovation. They've put these really big screens up in the area right by the masquerade, and they were showing Trek movies every night of the con, starting with Tuesday, the night before the con, really. And I will say that it was like they were in 4K and then some, so it looked really good. So it's kind of fun for us to be kind of hanging and having our drinks, and you look up and the motion pictures on and you can hear it, but it's just it's a good party atmosphere for the Trekkies. So they showed they showed Wrath of Khan, they showed Star Trek '09,
First
Generations, I think.
contact.
Yeah, First Contact and Generations, and I think they ended it with Galaxy Class on Sunday night. But Galaxy Quest. Sorry,
So no
almost
Final
there.
Frontier. No Star Trek 5.
Yeah, and no
No.
Nemesis, and they didn't show Nemesis to Amy's dismay.
I know.
I like Nemesis. I don't care what
Me
anyone
too.
says.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's your con technically.
that's amazing. Well, jam-packed weekend. You can't say those actors are not earning their paycheck for the weekend. Standing there, smiling and recounting stories and dealing with the general craziness that is Star Trek fandom. So, Kelvin, what's not on paper? Like, what happens that maybe the advertisers don't put out there that you will only know if you go?
Oh, I love that. So this is the good stuff, in my opinion, and we all say this, that we've done cons now, and the reason we go is to see each other. We go to see our friends. So outside of all of the vendors' room and the big exhibition wing of the Rio, there is the masquerade bar, like Christos just said. So every night, a little bit like on the cruise when we're just hanging around the bars there, or on the promenade on deck 5, you're just stood talking with your friends in a uniform, having drinks, talking about the day. Before you know it, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and it's time to go to sleep. So that's every day. And quite a lot of the queer community have kind of co-opted the masquerade bar. It's not obviously exclusive, but we are there. If you want to go and find the gays, that's where you'll find them. So that's always a mainstay. And there's a very lovely chap from the UK called Sean Moody, who a lot of people will know. He always makes arrangements with the Voodoo Bar, which is on something like the 50th floor of the Rio. It's basically the rooftop bar, and it's very fancy. And you go up and there's an outside with panoramic views all across Las Vegas. And they did a really good party this year. I will give them that. So everyone enjoyed that. That was scamp night, so it was nice and breezy up outside in our scamps. There's other things that go on as well. There's pool parties. There's like a pool party before the con starts if you arrive early, and there's one on the Monday when it's finished if you're a late stayer. But obviously the pool's open any day of the con anyway if you're staying at the hotel. Some people are known to have room parties. mainly because the price of alcohol is obscene, that people will just go to the liquor store and fill up, much like myself and Christos did. Thank you very much for our trip to Total Wines. You saved me hundreds of dollars. But there's other things as well. There's charity events. So Tyler, who you know, he had his Cool Water Productions evening, and that was a charity evening. They raised lots of money, and they had some of the stars like Doug Jones, Gabrielle Louise of Lower Decks was there, and that was very successful. And then again, not on the official agenda, but it's just become our thing. The lovely JJ was giving out all of his badges with a brand new crop, fresh for 2025, with a little carded message on the background explaining why he does it. And just that joy as the convention progresses, you see more and more people with them. It's lovely to see. It really, really is. And then you make new friends. So we go back to see people who we know, but you come away at the end of convention with loads of more friends who you've never met before, or people who have never been before, and they say it's their first time. So, you know, there was some lovely people. There was the lovely Ty, Derek, who makes his own cosplay. And I even got to meet Christos's friends, Mary Beth and Donna. So that was lovely. We went out for dinner there too. So yeah, that's all what's not on paper. It's the connections. That's the long and short of it.
And I love that, because for a lot of people who are very much into track, chances are it tends to gravitate towards maybe more introverts and people who are not always super comfortable in social situations. So this breaks down the what do I talk about, or how do I introduce myself barrier that a lot of people have. So those who maybe don't know how to just go up and talk to people in general life, at a convention, it's their safe space. The cruise is their safe space, right? They know we all have this one common thread, and we can just talk about that, and I can make a human connection with it. So I think that's almost the most important part of any of these conventions, is that connection, because we're so fragmented, and we're so, you know, separated by not just distance, but also the amount of time we spend online. But so far it sounds like it was an amazing experience. So let me ask, you know, let's talk about ROI of STLV. Did it meet your expectations? Do you feel as though it was what you hoped it would be? Kelvin.
So this was mine and James's second STLV. Our first was 2019, when we were introduced to Amy and Christos, and then the pandemic landed, and that's how our friendship cemented. So that was a very special STLV. So we were really excited, and obviously we'd done the cruise in the interim. So I didn't remember it being so expensive. As I've just said, the price of a drink was obscene. Even going down to get 2 cups of coffee from Starbucks in the morning was $20. And, you know, me and James drink a lot of coffee. We were having one a day. It was that expensive. So silly things like that. You make your money back through being a little bit wise and smart by doing the room drinks, as we've just said. But overall, I don't think it's accessible and affordable for everybody. I think there will be a lot of fans who are priced out because of that, and that's really not fair. It did seem a little bit quieter this year, apart from Saturday. So Saturday is bedlam. There's all people there, but Sunday and then Friday, Thursday, obviously Wednesday being the very first day, was quite quiet. I quite like that, because you could get into the vendor's room, get all the merch quick before the masses arrived, and kind of see things like the virtual reality Christos just mentioned. We strolled straight into there with no line, no queue. They were asking us to try it on. So a little bit quieter. And yeah, the other thing as well is, in comparison to the cruise, one of the things I notice about STLV is there's a lot less hanging about with your friends in the day, just kind of chatting, having a sit down. There's just lots of walking, and you bump into people. And so you bump into someone for the first time of the day. You're like, good morning, how are you? What did you do last night? What are you doing today? And then you part company, they go off and walk there where you walk your. And then you see them again an hour later and again. And you don't just chill with your friends like you do all day on the cruise. Everything is about the evening coming back together after a very busy scheduled day. That's my notice.
Interesting. For me, that was always my favorite part of the cruise was
Yeah.
we'll grab a little nosh in the morning, our coffee, and I get the coffee thing. Oof. And then we go sit by the pool and we just have fun. And maybe we hit the occasional panel, but it's really about soaking up that together time. But it still sounds like you got a good dose of alone, or not alone time. That makes it sound very sexy. Very good one-on-one time with the friends. So, Christos, what about you? Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, it did, of course, because the most important thing for me is always seeing the friends and hanging with the friends. So first and foremost, that box got checked, and I made some new friends and whatnot. I would, kind of echo a lot of what Kelvin said. It seemed a little bit, less busy this year, and I honestly, my thoughts on that are probably twofold. It is very expensive, and despite what our government would have you believe, I think there are some problems with the economy here in America right now, and there are money's a little tighter for some people, and it's not getting any cheaper going to Vegas, even though Vegas is actually pretty slow overall itself. I enjoyed, the vendors room. It was nice just to be able to like kind of walk around and do what you want, and the queues were a lot easier to handle. But like even on Sunday morning, going into the vendors room, it kind of felt like it was 4 or 5 in the afternoon, the way the vendors room feels when it's like everything's just about to shut down. It was really kind of chill. It was an easy con over that. It was very expensive. I spent way too much money, and but no regrets, I guess. But you've got to know the tricks, like Kelvin said. It's like the first thing you do is get in the car and go to Total Wines and stock up, because what I pay for a bottle of wine is like what would one glass would cost you at the bar if you're lucky, if sometimes more. So you got to know, it's almost like you got to know the tips of how to do it. And then, it's a little, to like kind of expand on that, people with, food allergies or food restrictions, being vegan or vegetarian like you are, it is a little harder to be in the Rio. Even though they have a lot more options in general for eating, it's not the best still. In fact, I had to Uber Eats some food in a couple of times just to eat right, not necessarily eat to survive. Unfortunately, I hate when I'm on holiday and I'm eating to survive, not eating to thrive or enjoy myself. So some of the dinners are become more important for that reason, being able to pull away from the Rio like we did and eat a real meal and have real choices, not just take it or leave it. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I
No,
would do it all again.
I understand I think that the tourism industry is going to need to catch up with the fact that tourists are becoming smarter with how they do vacations, right? So I live in a resort town, and it is the height of our tourist season, and there are tourists everywhere, but yet restaurants are empty.
Oh, wow.
And I get it. So they're getting the kitchenettes in their hotel rooms or a nice Airbnb, and they're going the more standard route, which when you do it that way, it's not that expensive for food. Um, I had not eaten out since we got back from Europe. I really miss just home cooked food and everything. So, hadn't gone out, hadn't been in a restaurant since we landed home. I went out on Thursday night with some friends, and a thing of chips and guacamole was $15. And I was like, there is no reason guacamole and chips should be $15.
Mm.
And that was before a $15 8-ounce glass of wine. And Krista was like, no, no, this is a bottle. Why am I only getting 5 ounces? So I absolutely agree that, tourists are either A, learning new tricks, or B, they're just saying, well, we'll do this every other year. Do you think all the reports of like not necessarily having safe entry to the States has done anything? Kelvin, did you have any problems? I'm interested to hear. No, you didn't. Okay.
We wondered, and they did have. There was a couple of new questions asked when we were going through security, but everything was very pleasant, lovely people.
Okay.
They asked things like, "How much money have we got on us? Do we know anyone when we arrive at the convention?" And I just said, James said, "Just say no." Yeah, we know thousands of people.
Yeah.
So yes, strange things like that. But the process was just as straightforward. There was no problems coming in for us.
Interesting. And Amy, how about yourself? Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, because I am working and I had to start work the week before. So when you guys came, I was already in week 2. So it was very difficult. And I just had to tell myself, I only purchased the one day for Saturday. And I just had to tell myself, I'm only doing the convention part Saturday. So it was actually, once I got that through my head that I wasn't going to be in the vendor's room walking around with everyone, I wasn't going to be seeing panels, I was like, okay, I'm doing the evening events. So after work, and my school is just real close, so like 5-minute drive. I would text everyone. I'm like, all right, I'll see you at Lapa Lounge and whoever gets there first. And there was always someone that I was talking to that would come up and say hi. So I got that, good one-on-one time while everyone was leaving the convention and making their costume changes. And then we would go out for dinners. And that actually was really quite lovely for me, because last year I purchased the entire general admission for the weekend. But again, I felt stressed because I was like, oh, I got to rush from work and go in. So this was just a slower pace for me, and it really worked for my work schedule. So that was really good.
Will you do it that way next year?
Yeah, I'm going to have to, because I just can't do both. And with our school starting so early, it's just stupid.
Yeah. How did everyone spend their time? So there's obviously, Amy, yours was going to be a bit more scattered and a bit more sporadic, but Kelvin and Christos. So what cosplays, if any, did you all adorn?
Unlike the cruise that is very specific on cosplay themes, Star Trek Las Vegas I find is a lot more generic. So there's a lot more of just wearing the uniforms, walking around all day. I did have 2 kind of deep cut outfits planned. One was stranded Chakotay from season 2 of Prodigy.
Good.
And very lovely Christian Carter made the custom T-shirt for me with the grey and blue kind of diagonal line down it. James drew on my Chakotay tattoo with eyeliner, and he did an amazing job.
So good. Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people recognize what I was wearing, because there wasn't a huge amount of attention. I'm not going to lie. Apart from the guys on the fan home desk, they couldn't believe I was wearing it, but they're clearly Prodigy fans. The other outfit I was going to wear was 7 of 9 from the wrestling episode of Voyager, some Catsy. So I had like a wrestling singlet, and I had a Polaron emitter with a little light and all the ocular implants. But I just didn't get around to wearing it. And I think I had a little bit of like body issue because it was the end of the week and I'd been eating a lot of food and I was a bit bloated, and I thought this is not the time to stuff myself into a wrestling singlet. So maybe I should have done that a little earlier in the week. But yeah, I can just save that now for another year.
There you go.
But yeah, mainly uniforms I found people wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy, what about you? Did you wear some good old cosplay?
Well, I had a very special experience because longtime listeners of the show, if you remember Ken Tripp way back in the day of my Trek FM days, he sent me a screen used uniform from the motion picture. And I've got the certificate right here. Like, he bought it at auction. So it's from the movie 1979. And he sent it and he's like, listen, this uniform needs to be worn. Will you wear it at STLV? I'm like, okay, twist my arm. So he sent it to me and I wore it Saturday. And oh my gosh, there so many people were like stopping me and like, oh my gosh, it looks great. And I don't even know how it fit me that good. And they're like, did you get that altered? I'm like, no, I just put it on. Thankfully it fit. If I was any bigger, it would not
like
have.
a glove. It's like it was made for you. It was, and the coloring of it suits your skin tone, your hair. It was perfect.
Amazing.
Gorgeous. It was literally like it was made for Amy, and she looks stunning in it.
But what was surreal was walking in the Roddenberry room with the archives and the uniform that was my uniform. It was like so crazy. And I walked in and like 3 of the Roddenberry people like swarmed over and they're like, did you make this? What is this? Like, they saw the quality. I'm like, yeah, this is screen. We have screen used. Oh my gosh. And they were like asking me all these questions. It was so cute. So that was the highlight of my cosplay. So kudos to Ken Tripp for making that happen.
Amazing. And Christos, how about yourself? What did you adorn on that beautiful body?
So I brought a ton of cosplay with me, but then I ran into a little bit of a problem. So the Saturday before the con, I actually did go get the much rumored and talked about Star Trek tattoo. So there it is.
There
It's
it
finally,
is.
it's 15 days old today. And so, anyone who's ever gotten a tattoo knows they need to be taken care of a lot, especially that first week. So I was putting ointments on it and whatnot, the aquifer and whatnot. And that was starting to get on my clothes whenever I would wear something. So, and staining and kind of sticking through. And so I kind of had to start wearing a little bit more tank top, sleeveless, stuff like that, or just stuff. If it gets dirty or what stained, I'm not going to care. So that put a big light there, on. Plus, it was, I don't know about you guys, I felt it was very warm at times in the con. I was really hot at times. So, that being said, I think it was day one of the con. I was walking around with Mr. Kelvin here and some other people, and we stumbled across this one vendor. Connie was her name, but I was looking around at what Connie sold, and it was more like artsy crafty kind of stuff, like right up your alley, Kristin. Um, and I looked up, and there was like maybe you would say a season 6, season 7 men's extra TNG jumpsuit hanging on the screen behind her. And I actually thought, is that a screen used one and it's just on display, right? Because it didn't match what the lady was selling. And so I asked her about it. She goes, oh no, that's for sale. It's a replica. It's made by Chris. And I don't know Chris's last name, but he's like Chris 1701 on Instagram.
Who was on the view screen?
Yes.
So, and I've always admired his cosplay for years. I've been going to STU for like 8 or 9 years now, and admired from afar. And so I found out it was for sale, step one. I'm like, oh shoot. And then of course Connie's like, well, do you want to, and I take it down and they hold it up and it looks like it's about my size. It looks like, and then she's like, do you want to try it on? So I go behind the black screen with this woman, Connie, stripped down to my underwear, giving her a show. And they pour me into this just jumpsuit. And it looked like it was pretty much made for my body as far as size goes and whatnot. I didn't even realize some of the gains I've been making in the gym until you're in something form fitting like that. And of course, Kelvin being that devil on my shoulders, just do it.
Yeah.
And I bought it. So that's my little.
No, what I actually did was take a lot of photographs of you from behind
Yeah.
so that
Yes.
you could see what your back and your
That
arms
did
And
it.
your
looked like.
booty.
So I showed
Yeah.
him,
So
I said, look at your booty. And he was like, sold, we'll have that one. Thank you.
my
That's
booty got named
phenomenal.
my booty got named level 5 out of that whole debacle. But I loved it. I mean, aside from being a little bit weary about the front, I felt like I was Gates in about mid-season 4 with a little baby bump. Um, I never felt so uh, like like this is how cosplay should be done. It was my
Yeah.
first really, 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 really screen accurate um, dive into Trek right down to the com badge. I had my factory, was it the factory entertainment, a medical tricorder with me on the trip. So
Oh,
yeah, so I really enjoyed just taking off and going down that road with the whole thing and just really leaning into it. So, and I even got to wear it in a photo op with Gates, and so that was really cool. But you'd be surprised when you're wearing like, I mean, Amy can probably really understand this too. And Kelvin is he's no amateur when it comes to cosplay. When you're wearing really good cosplay, or especially if you're in a group of people who are matching you, it can be really impressive.
yeah.
So it feels really good.
So speaking of impressive cosplay, Christos, what other people's cosplay wowed you? Like, what did you see from afar and go, holy cow, this is amazing. I have to compliment you.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, there's some really like gimmicky type cosplays out there which are like spot on. Like there was I think they won the costume. It was the aliens from Encounter at Parhurt, the space babies aliens. It was so cool. And then you have your people like Chris 1701, who's just like, oh my God, he had like he does like the first contact space suits and the Enterprise space suits and like whoa. And then my friend Brian, who I was introduced to by Jason Anderson last year at STLV, him and this other guy named Ty, who we met at like Masquerade Bar. Everyone was doing really good screen accurate TNG. So we went and put all of our uniforms on one day and went and did like a photo shoot together. And it was really fun to look like all three of us. We were actually had all the colors represented and everything. And that was really fun. And it's like when Kelvin and James and I have done our scants and we have all three colors, if individually, oh, that's great. But when you come together as, all three or more, it really makes an impression. And people, so especially when you're traveling together, walking around, people stop you and they want pictures and things like that. So I think that's the fun part. Like, and like I said, you see, there's lots of different cosplays. I mean, people doing really good 7 to 9s this year. I saw several. There's people walking around in caftans that look like the holodeck. I mean, there's just anything you can think of. Trekkies are very creative people, and you just kind of see it all. So, but I'm a good
awesome.
old. I appreciate uniforms. That's my thing.
Kelvin, how about you? What did you see that took your breath away?
I was very impressed at the speed at which someone pulled off the Laan cosplay from episode 4 of this season's Strange New Worlds, which only aired a few days before STLV. So they were the Amelia Moon character that you've not seen the episode, Kristin, but it's like a female Dixon Hill. That's kind of the
Awesome.
character. So it's like a red fedora and a big red tie and an open shirt. And she looks
really
amazing.
good.
And even Christina Chong said she couldn't believe that someone was cosplaying that character, had only been on TV a few days earlier. So it really caught the attention of the actress as well. That was pretty special.
That's so cool. Amy, how about you?
Yeah, I'm always impressed with those who can just change the color of their skin. So there was this Andorian with the antenna and the blue that was the perfect blue and didn't even like look like it would rubbed off it, and the outfit like just really, really good. And I got a picture and it was like sort of the blue light, that comes from the ground. It just, I like that one.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so
I
cool.
also wanted to shout out Mickey at Make It So. She did
Gosh, yes.
she did a Dixie Hill, which was a female version of Dixon Hill, and she looked just like a female until she took off her fedora. And even though it had long hair, she was Picard bald on top. So
Oh, funny.
That's
it was
so funny.
nuts. And then on the last day, she did Una Mystique. So it was like Mystique and Una, like, so both throwbacks for Rebecca Romaine. And they both Jerry O'Connell and Rebecca Romaine like kind of lost their shit over how cool she looked. So she had, and then she even had Una's crazy hair from episode 2 or whatever that was, maybe episode 3, done up for, and that was also very recent cosplay, and she had it already out there. So she always does a really good job. So shout out to Mickey.
Awesome. I always love seeing people's creativity, and I enjoy the weird ones where it almost makes you think and you're like, what is going on here? Like when they had the entire group on the cruise one time dressed in all black and they just had lights on them, and it didn't make any sense when I keep seeing them walk by. But then when the 4 of them got together, you're like, there we go, 4 lights. And then when the couple dressed up, they just put on whale costumes with name tags that said George and Gracie. And I was like, that's so, I would never think of doing that. Would never think of doing that. How about some of the panels? What panels really stood out to you as this was what I was hoping for?
Well, I'm going to start with saying, shout out to our own Matt Jennings from the network. He did a panel with Sean Ferrick from Trek Culture, all about content creation. And that was one of the more intimate ones in the VIX Lounge. So it wasn't in the main theatre, but we really all got up to go and support him. And that was a really good panel. It was great to see Scott Bakula doesn't turn up. And everything that people say about him, it's just true. He is a lovely man. All the guys from Enterprise all coo about what a great leader he was on set. And you can just tell by how respectful he is and a positive person that you just gush over him. You could just fall in love with the man. He is great. And maybe the opposite end of the spectrum. It's always going to see Shatner as well, because you never know when it's the last one. And there was a little bit of controversy with Shatner's panel. There was somebody misbehaving in the front row, and he called them out on 3 occasions. And on the 3rd occasion, he just lost his shit with them. I've been reading on Facebook since the con. Actually, the person he was shouting at was a plainclothes security guard. She was trying to tell someone off who was seating in someone's allocated seat who wasn't there. So she was trying to move someone. Shatner found that very intrusive, so kept calling her out, saying, what are you doing? Why are you talking to other people? Why are you taking people away? And he got that annoyed that when he finished his question from the audience, he threw his microphone down onto the sofa and just said, thank you very much, and walked out and finished his panel 10 minutes early. Wow. So it was very abrupt, very dramatic, very Shatner. But I will say, still enjoyed his talk. He's still, he's aging. He's forgetting his words, like we all do on occasion. But he would get a fan question. He'd tell a long story, but then always return to the question to finish his point. So he's still very sharp, and I will give that to him.
Yeah, I would say I almost got run down by Shatner in one of his go-karts when I was in line waiting for an auto. I was he's relentless. He doesn't care. He's driving fast, and get the hell out of his way. So a couple of good panels I saw were like, first off, I didn't even plan on this, but I kind of wandered in as Todd Stashwick and Terry Metalis were on stage together. And I got a little bit more tidbits about what Picard season 3 was supposed to be. Now that there's been a couple more years behind us, more details came out, like interesting things like how they wanted Kira to be in season 3 and with the changeling aspect of Picard. And, they said if they had it their way, there would have been about 2 more episodes to the season so they could go a little deeper, but money is usually always the case. Um, Right before the Voyager panel, I did a photo op with the women of Voyager, Jerry Ryan
Oh,
and
amazing.
Kate Mulgrew and Roxanne Dawson. And I was at the front right before, maybe the third person in before they started that. And they were hugging and kissing and posing for the camera like a true Charlie's Angels troop. And it was like the first time I could really see, like, whatever happened with these actors in the past is definitely in the past. And they were really basking in the glow of the con, and it was Voyager's 30th. And so that made I really liked how my picture turned out. But then,
Mhm.
like, not even an hour later was the Voyager 30th anniversary panel, and it was great for the Kate Mulgrew is definitely, she's still the captain of that crew. She kind of sat in the middle and kind of in that way of not even being annoying about it, kind of kept control of everything, and just kind of just watching that power dynamic. But I really enjoyed that panel. The Strange New Worlds panel was really cool. Trying to think what other ones. I did catch a little bit of Shatner's, but he turns me off anymore these days. So yeah, there was some really good panels. Like I said earlier, the Trek in Politics in the other room. I did completely fell asleep at the wheel. I didn't even realize Gates was having a panel one morning and missed it altogether.
I will say, I don't know how we found this out, but the Creation app had a broadcast function, and you could watch the panels on your phone. So
Oh,
we watched the Gates panel, or rather, I listened to it because I was still face down in the pillow in bed, unable to move after a heavy night the night before. So that was a really good build of, you could just listen to the panel without having to leave your hotel room.
I wonder if I could have done that.
I don't
I
know.
don't see why not. There was no login on that app. So now that
Right?
you say that,
Yeah.
Kelvin, anybody who knew that, you could have been, here in Honolulu and watching the con,
Right?
at least watching the main
Interesting.
stage,
Canada.
And
at
that's a
least the.
new thing this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Amy, how about you? What panels did you get to see?
My one panel, and if you guys know me, I usually am in the theater doing I'm a panel person. I love the panels and I've seen them all the time and I still love it. And I go to see the actors interact with each other. And I went to the LeVar and Mika Burton panel.
So cute.
This was the first time that they have done a panel together. So I felt
Wow.
pretty awesome to be witnessing that. And my goodness, what an amazing daughter-father relationship. What an amazing co-worker relationship. What an amazing adult-adult relationship. Like, it was so fun to see them tit and tat back and forth. I won't tell any embarrassing stories if you won't. And then, of course, we get all the embarrassing stories. And one of my favorite thing was Mika just always referring to Uncle Brent, Uncle Pat.
Oh,
Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is just so adorable. Like, how seriously they are a true family.
I love
And
that.
it was really good. We had, again, the questioners. Some were in this episode. Jordy did this, and I almost got up and left because these types of questions annoy the crap out of me, but they're always so good to turn it around. And we had Larry Nemechek, who was moderating, he's wonderful. So I enjoy Larry. So that was my one and only panel, but I am so glad I got to see it.
Amazing. At least the one you did get to see was worth it.
Special.
And
Yeah.
yes. So, real quick question, because this is always my favorite thing. What did everybody buy?
Oh, I can be quite quick with that. I
Yeah.
got the old Playmates action figures for Janice Rand and Christine Chappell just to complete my original series crew in my little glass cabinet in our living room. So that was one of the reasons I was happy to get in the vendors hall quick on the first day. I got them done, and then didn't see them again all weekend in terms of
Ooh.
additional figures for sale. So I was happy about that. I did splurge and treat myself to the Pop Galaxy Wrath of Cardigan, which Christos has already got. They were so popular. You kept seeing more and more people wearing them as the con went on. So I'm so glad that those guys had a successful con and they would have made so much money. But what really made me laugh, and it made me laugh because this isn't my money, but James spent so much with fan sets. Every time we walked past that desk, he would buy another con badge.
Oh.
And they had like little special mini versions this year. He bought those and some motion picture versions. And oh, we forgot to bring our Prodigy badges. Oh, I'll buy another. It's like, we've got these at home. He was obsessed.
Oh, that's so funny. By the way, next time if anyone goes to one of these and you have the Wrath of Cardigan, I will e-transfer you the money if you would not mind picking me up one, because
We've got it.
thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
That is my
Um,
favorite uniform.
yeah,
So,
it's good.
Chris, what did
Um,
you buy?
I likewise, I spent a little bit of money at fan sets. It's always very easy to do, especially those motion picture badges that they have. The science or the medical one from is green, and that's like my color. So and medical. So I was wearing that a lot of the con actually. And then they had like this Nemesis pin set that was like every character from Nemesis and a nice little background with the
Ooh.
Nemesis poster. I haven't done anything with it because I really haven't been home for more than a day since the con, but I'll figure that out after this trip. Same thing with the Rathacon. They had caftans this year, and I bought a Star Trek caftan. You know, Kristen, if you know what, I didn't even get to wear it, so I would do this for you. If you want it, I'll send you some pictures.
Yeah.
Let me know. We can work something out because I see you getting excited there, and I know you're the queen of caftans.
I
So
love a good caftan.
Did you
I'll send.
happen to, sorry to interject, but talking captains, did you see Dana Holt? She did
Yep.
the Mrs. Roper with the
Yes.
caftans from
It
Three's
was.
Company. It was wonderful. So good. I'm like, I need
Yeah.
to get in on that, Mrs. Roper.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send you some pics. You let me know.
All
And
right.
also, I think they're going to do a Beverly Crusher lab coat for next year. I think I got them a little. We had a really good talk, and she's like, I'm like, that's the one that just like the Rathacon thing, a lot of people would pick up and just, I think what I like about that particular vendor is what they're selling is pretty inclusive. It doesn't matter your body type or how big
Mm.
or how small you are. Everyone can participate, and I think that's what is kind of special about that. A lot of times cosplay, you need to be a certain size, a certain figure, a certain
Yeah.
build to pull it off. But those caftans and sweaters are pretty inclusive. I got to go by Master Replica's desk, and they had a lot of the action figures that are forthcoming from season 3 Picard and Lower Decks, and they had already revealed 5 of the TNG main cast action figures. And me, where's Beverly? Pretty much asking. He had the prototype for the Beverly Crusher action figure, and he pulled it out and showed it to us. And it was so top secret we weren't even allowed to take a photo of it, but I will say it looked
Ooh.
amazing. You can see that he showed it to Terry Metalis and he took a photo. You can see the back of the figure and it was posted online. So if you follow Terry, you can see the back of Beverly if you want to see that. I thought that was cool. The other major thing I did was I took my Strange New Worlds soundtrack for Subspace Rhapsody, and I was paying for autographs to have it autographed by people. So I only am missing Anson Mount and Ortegas, and I'm
Oh.
getting that autograph. So it's a pretty complete piece. And so that was really fun. That was a really fun way to kind of go around and see everybody. And I will say, like, Christina Chong was a delight to talk to, and so was Jess Bush. They really took their time and talked to you, and were just really high energy, which was really nice. So I think
They
that was the bulk of my money spent.
they give off that vibe though. Both of them give off the I'm cool to go and grab a drink and just shoot the you know what with. They both have that energy about them. Amy, what did you buy?
This is the first year that I did not buy from fan sets, and
Ooh.
I don't even know what was wrong with me that day.
There's probably nothing left.
No, yeah, because by the time Saturday, my goodness. But I got to go around and get autographs. Stevie from the cruise, good old mate in Australia, sent me a poster, a Picard poster, and he's got signatures, and he asked me, he's missing some. So I was able to go to Michael Dorn and Elizabeth Dennehy, who plays Shelby. And that was so fun because I've interviewed her. So I was like, oh, you were on my podcast. She's like, oh, how you doing? I mean, she was faking it, I know, but I still appreciated the And then I also got Mika Burton, and she, again, just absolutely wonderful. And she was like, oh, there's Uncle who's Data? Brent. And there's my dad. And just so
What a
wonderful.
life. Oh, I'm
I
trying not to
know.
be jealous of this random person I've never met, but I'm also like, oh my god. Oh my god. So did anybody talk to in all of your meetings with the celebrities and everything, did anyone float appearing on the view screen?
Oh God, no.
Oh.
We did with normal people, shall we say, the
Yes.
civilians. We've
Normal.
not gone for the big talents, but it was great to see a lot of people who've previously been on the view screen, obviously like
Yes.
Tyler, but Chris 1701, he came over, said, did I do a good job for you? We were
Oh,
like, you were
yes.
amazing. But we
Yes.
even went to see Kavita, who did the artwork, and she was great and exhibiting again. So
And the Star Trek wines.
Exactly, yes. Star
Yeah,
Trek wines
I
were
got
there
to see
too.
them, and they were like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, yay, thanks for
That's
recognizing
awesome.
me."
Okay, so wow, we're just talking up a storm here today, but I have more questions. So I'm going to jump back in. What about away from the con in the evenings? What were some of the, I think we've touched on a few of them, but were there any specific restaurants or events or anything that happened après le convention that really stand out to you? Christos.
Yeah, so I think Wednesday, the first real con day, a lot of us went over to Crossroads, which is the vegan restaurant over at Resort Worlds, and had a very nice meal, and then rushed back to the Rio to attend The Empire Strips Back, which is a burlesque parody of Star Wars. So we did that. And, that was a lot of fun for the first night. And then the following night, we went to Ferraro's to celebrate Stephen King's birthday, a little slightly belated by like a day or two, but had a really, really nice meal there. So we were having our little away team missions. And one other shout out meal I'll have was on on Tuesday. There's a very intimate lunch that I went to with James and Kelvin and JJ. We ended up going over to Caesar's Palace to shop and just kind of get out of the Rio before we were going to be living in the Rio day in and day out. And we had like an impromptu lunch at Carmine's. And with JJ, we kind of had an impromptu episode live of What's the T-Bev? And so
Oh,
I interviewed JJ at the table about all of his Star Trek fandom. Very organic, but I actually remembered all the questions. I was proud of myself for that. I didn't have to go to my phone, and we had it drove discussion in a really cool way at the table. So I almost
Nice.
wish that there had been a camera
mhm.
watching and could have taped it, because I feel like now I can't have JJ on the show because I've done it. I know it's advanced, but it was really fun to do it in a live environment. So maybe, I don't know, next year, maybe I can think of something to do a camera setup and do a live episode or something like that. Because it was a lot of fun to be in the room with the person, so to speak. I know there were more meals, but those were some highlights for me.
Awesome. Kelvin, how about you? What really stood out to you?
I mean, going out for dinner was a real highlight. In 2019, James and I didn't really know anyone, so we'd see people in the day at the convention. We'd hang about for drinks in the evening, but to be invited out for dinner, we weren't quite there yet as levels of friendship. So to be able to actually make plans every evening to go out was really great. And as we've said a lot of, it's great to get away from the Rio because a lot of the food choices are incredibly limited. There was some awful meals actually. I'm thinking of James's face now at Hash House. He ordered breakfast and it just looked like a bowl of dog food. It was just slop. It was not good. Couldn't even tell you what it was supposed to be. But yeah, everyone was laughing at that. But what was lovely to start the week is Christos introduced us to his friends Mary Beth and Donna, and we went for dinner at the Aria at a place called Catch. That was beautiful restaurant, beautiful food, and it was nice to see some of Christos's other friends, so non-Star Trek people. And then I think our final meal was my favorite. Amy, you recommended Amalfi, didn't you? And I thought it was a beautiful restaurant. What I found hilarious was we had Elaine with us, who you might know from the cruise, Kristin, and this was a seafood restaurant. So she sat down at the table and she said to the server, "I don't eat anything from the sea, and I can't have anything with citrus in it." And you should have seen this server's face. And she was like, she basically ate a bowl of polenta.
Perfect. I've been there. When you go certain places and you're like, oh, okay, I will have some iceberg lettuce. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. Amy, how about you? What evening activities did you enjoy?
Well, all of them. And I just have to say, I have been doing dinners. This, I think, was 3 weeks of friends coming in and out. So I actually had a lot of dinners. Went back to the Bedford at the Paris Martha Stewart's. Wonderful. I know the bartender's there now. It's really great. We went to Nacho Daddy's, which is always a favorite. That was just a quick there and back. I love that place because it's huge foods and I get to take a bite of everyone and then I'm full. So I appreciate that. And really one of my favorites, way before everything got going, I did invite Kelvin and James over and we got to spend the evening at my home because I have been to theirs. So that was very special for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it was so weird for me to wander into Amy's little podcast area there and sit at Amy's chair and go, oh, I'm in Amy Nelson's podcast room.
Oh, I love it. Well, altogether, it sounds like you were all very busy. You had lots of activities and lots of good experiences. So let's wrap it up for the listeners. Assimilations, what 1 point each? What was your highlight? Kelvin.
Okay, well, Amy's got there, but yeah, going over to Amy's house was amazing. So I'm going to take another. Okay. At the very end of the con on the Sunday, about 5-6 p.m., Paul Wesley, Ethan Peck, and Christina Chong all went behind the bar in the Lapper Lounge to promote Paul Wesley's bourbon that he and I think his brother's doing it as well. So they went behind the bar making drinks and just handing them out to us all at the bar. And it was just weird to think Captain Kirk's just poured a drink, Spock has shaken it, and La'ana's just handed it to me. And it was free. Yeah. So I got some great photos, great videos, and yeah, Captain Kirk and cocktails. Who knew?
It was very cruise feeling, like, you know, because you don't get to see the actors out and about like you do on the cruise. And so here they come walking in. It was like, what are you doing? It was pretty cool.
I love that. Christos, what would your top moment have been?
I mean, always aside from, I'm gonna first say any time spent with us friends where we were together, those were all amazing. I will say maybe a combination of two things. I guess first off, I really enjoyed the ambience of the masquerade with the movies
Mm.
showing it. But I thought that was a big, just to see the hotel get more into it. There were themed drinks
Mhm.
everywhere. There was, so it was a little bit more, felt like the hotel was leaning a little bit more into it. I really enjoyed that. And, it was funny having this new tattoo and everything and walking around. I was saying earlier, I got to spend a little more time with Christina Chong, and she noticed my tattoo, and at first she asked, "Is that real?" And I said, "Yeah." And then I got to actually, because on Ad Astra Per Spera, everyone knows this is like one of my top 5 episodes at Trek now, and I got to explain to Christina Chong what that episode meant to me, and that Lon has kind of a big role in that episode as well.
Mhm.
She almost started crying. So I mean, it was
Oh.
like just be able to say to the artist what their work meant to you, and it meant so much to you that in part you're part of why this is on my arm.
Mm.
That was kind of special. I mean, Rebecca remained did kind of like mine was mind blown, and really loved it, and we took a nice photo together. But we were on the on the treadmill of taking pictures, so
Oh,
that was really cool to spend that moment with Christina Chong and have that moment. So yeah.
amazing. And Amy, how about yourself?
Um, Gosh, one, I'm gonna squeeze in two. I had a former student text me, Miss Nelson, are you at the con? And send a picture of the main stage. Here I am. I'm like, yes, I'm at the con. So I got to meet up with him. He remembered like all my Star Trek stuff, and he's like, I'm here. And I said, what are you doing here? I'm dating a girl who likes Star Trek. And his name is Lex, and he's from Russian heritage. And so his girlfriend dressed him up as Chekhov. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. Loved
Did he
it.
have the accent? Does he have the?
No, yeah,
Okay,
but he had the cute little short pants with the boots. He looked great.
amazing.
But my real favorite thing, got to have an amazing connection with Martin Rayner, and he is the actor who plays Dr. Chaotica in Voyager.
Oh yes.
And there is just something, we had this connection. Um, it was truly just a wonderful, quick, maybe an hour, because it was right before we were going to dinner to Amalfi. And so that is very special. We're still talking. I mean, you guys know I can't talk to actors, so that I had this connection with an actor was pretty awesome. So
That's amazing. I can't talk to the actors either. Justin, no problem. He chatted with Jeffrey Coombs about
mm,
the Seahawks on the 2018 cruise, and just so chill and so relaxed. He invited us over for brunch when he saw us sitting on the deck the next day, and they continued to talk about it. And I just sat there, just like not my best self, but sometimes I get overwhelmed. So I'm
yeah,
glad
me
that you
too.
had that moment.
Yeah.
Okay. On the other side of the coin, what did we not like? What would you have put on the comment card of could be done better?
I did put a few down, but I think that's just where my head was when I was collecting some thoughts. But I'm going to boil it down to one and just say this is really nothing to do with the convention, but the travel was a bit of a disaster for me
Oh,
in both directions. Kristin, you probably empathize with this with all of your travel woes that you always have. We didn't have direct flights, so we missed our connections in both directions.
oh
So we were supposed to
no.
fly Manchester to Amsterdam and then Amsterdam to Vegas. And the Amsterdam flight is 1 hour from Manchester, and it was 30 minutes late from Manchester. So we missed the flight to Vegas. So that meant we had to stay an extra night in Manchester. But rather than coming all the way home, we just stayed at the airport hotel, and they gave it us for free. We had an evening meal. And then they put us on the direct flight from Manchester to Vegas on the Sunday morning.
Okay.
So all in all, we probably lost about half a day. And I was thinking, why didn't we just book this direct flight anyway? So that was a lesson learned. Then coming back was even worse. We was going from Vegas to Atlanta, and then Atlanta to Manchester. Atlanta is the biggest airport in the world, the biggest and busiest airport in the world. I Googled it and fact checked it. And you have to get a train from all of the different areas.
Terminals.
Yeah.
So it dropped us off in F, and we had to get to A. And it was very movie style. We were running, and we missed our flight by seconds.
No.
And they just said, we can't let you on. We've closed the gate. So we had to wait in Atlanta for many hours. And then we went again to Amsterdam. Amsterdam was determined to see us this trip. So we got to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to Manchester, and then our cases didn't turn up. So they arrived the next day. Not quite Christos in Sitges, many, many days without suitcase. It came the day after, but it was just a shambles. And James and I have said, right, 2026, direct flights. Don't care what the cost is. Don't care what it is, if it's any more. We're going direct, to the point which I've already looked ahead and picked out which flights we're having in 2026.
Can I make a request for 2026?
Yeah.
When you're done, can you book a flight up to see me on your way home? Because that would be a direct flight, and
we
just
can
saying, I'm just gonna put that little bug in your ear. I'm gonna put the little Rathacon eel in your ear, just to think about whether or not you want to do that.
Brilliant. Oh, lovely.
So, wink. Amy, what about you? What was the regeneration for yours? Oh, sorry, Kelvin, are you done? Were you done?
I'm done. I don't need my others.
Okay. Amy, how about yourself?
Yeah, it just sort of goes not with the convention, but the cost of things. I was not happy at the pool party. You had to rent a chair. Like, that was so ridiculous. I'm like, so not happy with that. And of course, the drinks, way too expensive. And that's a Vegas thing. So it's not really anything with the convention. I thought, yeah. So that's all. It's just costs.
Okay, fair enough. I get that. I get that. Some of us are thrifty people, and we go, "Is this worth my money?" And renting a chair, no. I could see why that. I will stand. I will just stand or sit on the floor. Oh, Christos, how about yourself?
I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and talk about the costs a little bit, and more so, this one is more specific to the Rio. I know they've remodeled the one tower and done some things, but it's still far behind other hotels. And really, they've picked up on the aspect of it's STLV. We can charge a lot more. So your room on Monday, when I was there, Monday, Tuesday, it was like $35 for the night, and then it jumps up to like 300 something a night for the con nights. And it's the quality of the hotel does not match $300 a night. I could have stayed over at the Aria for that money. And it's like, it's more of a supply and demand thing. They know you want to be in this hotel, and they can charge what they want, but you're not having that premium experience. And so it's like, I think the maid forgot to clean my room 3 days of the week, and stuff like that. And just like the level of service is not matching the pricing. So that would be my, I really noticed that this time. And I'd already gone ahead to rebook for next year because it's the 60th and whatnot, and I will go back. And that's why they charge what they charge, because they know you'll come back. But it's already, those kind of pricing for next year is already, yeah.
And I wish that Creation or the Rio would let us Trekkies book the hotel, because I tried to book just for the weekend and they were sold out. Ria tried to book. They were sold out. And then when we're walking around and seeing all these non-Trekkies, it's like, ooh, what are you doing here? Go away, because there could have been more rooms for Trekkies. So they've got to fix that.
Yeah, I understand why that is because you have to guarantee at that point, and creation will be on the line for not selling those rooms. But on the other hand, they probably wouldn't have much of a problem.
Yeah.
No.
I
But
just, I
that's
just,
only the same as the Star Trek crews chartering a Royal Caribbean ship.
yeah,
They take every cabin on a
Mhm.
ship and then they resell it. Creation could take every hotel room and resell them.
Yep. Yep. Well, you know what? If anyone from creation is listening, here's some very important feedback from people who are,
I,
attending. So let's go. I always thought, and here's where I was, maybe I'm just so stuck in the 90s, I literally can't think of anything else. But I remember Vegas being the place where people were like, that's where you can go for a cheap, fun
Yep.
weekend. And
Yep.
you'd get a coupon for like 99-cent steak dinner, and
Yep.
drinks were like shots were $5 each, if that. That was like a big fancy shot. And now all of a sudden I'm just like, it's the thing about Vegas is it was supposed to be cheap and trashy, and that's sort of what people wanted. Just the downtown part, Amy, not the rest. I'm not calling
Yeah.
all of Vegas, right?
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
the
No, I
strip
get
part,
it.
right? And now it's
Mhm.
just like expensive and trashy. And I was like, well, I don't,
Well,
no
I think,
one's going there expecting pure elegance. Why are we paying for it?
well, Vegas has gotten more expensive since the beginning of the pandemic. And I
Yeah.
think one of the reasons Vegas is a little empty right now is that it's kind of hit a tipping point. So I don't know, maybe Vegas is going to have to adjust and bring some pricing down in order
Mhm.
to bring people back,
Yeah.
at least in the short term.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, final thoughts. I think all of you have said that, yeah, it was worth it, and you're already planning to go again next year. So, are you all excited and everything? So, let's final thoughts on this year and next year. Amy, what you're obviously, it wouldn't make sense for you not to go.
Right. So please come early. I've got my nights totally open. Nothing has been scheduled. So get your dates now.
Perfect.
I will be doing the same thing. I will just buy the 1-day pass for Saturday. I would like to get a hotel room. So that may change. However, my Uber rides, not gonna lie, were pretty cheap and efficient. So that wasn't terrible. But definitely that's my favorite thing is please come early and
Yeah.
we can hang out. Yeah.
Awesome. Christos, how about you?
I would agree. We were taking Uber Blacks for like $20 and
Oh.
fitting everybody for riding in style. Yeah, I mean, great con, expensive con, but I really enjoyed it. I'll be back next year for sure. I mean, I'm not that excited about it yet. Honestly, I need to spend some time at home and maybe recharge, but that's why it's once a year, not once a
Mhm.
month. So
Could you imagine? We'd
see,
all be
yeah, see you next year is what I'll say.
there. You go. And Kelvin.
I shall be taking my direct flight Manchester to Vegas in August 2026. I have booked the rooms at the Rio on booking.com, which is free cancellation. So you pay nothing, you secure your room. And because of the changes in prices, you can keep just having a look over the course of the year to see if the price has gone down. And then if they've gone down, you book again, cancel your original one. So there's an element of jockeying for decent pricing. At the moment, it's something like 3 times more expensive next year than it was this year. But at least I've got a room, it's locked in. I'm hoping to get it a bit cheaper. I am excited next year, not just because it's the 60th. I'm also excited for it's a significant anniversary for Enterprise as well. So Scott Bakula said he's coming back next year. They've already pre-booked him. We know the guys from Enterprise all turn up. I have everything crossed for Jolene and Linda turning up as well. And that would be, if I had a photo op with Jolene Blaylock, I would cry.
Oh,
So
well,
I'm putting it out there in the universe. Please come.
yeah, sending those good vibes out that something falls into place for her to be able to do that. That's amazing.
Manifesting.
Manifesting.
Calling all audiophiles and Trekkies. Prepare to boldly go where no podcast listener has gone before with the diverse soundscapes of BQN. We're not just a network, we're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Charting the Star Trek cosmos, we have all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy Class, Engage. Stephen and Stefan pilots this deep space mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek The Next Generation. Infinite Diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissy and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiances lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into the rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the T-Bab? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube as well as a podcast are Trexperts Quiz. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. Beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Szilagys. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissy and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe. And Transformational Journeys. Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. To unlock deeper levels of engagement, try our patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. And check out our back catalog of It's Green, a verdant cornucopia of topics offering diverse and engaging conversations, and Amy's Math Moments. Discover the subtle and not so subtle mathematical wonders woven into the fabric of Star Trek. You can stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following at BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Bluesky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
So, Christos, what do we have on the docket for next week?
Well, we are returning to our courtroom series, part 3, with TOS's The Menagerie, kind of one of the really early OG episodes.
I think it's one of the OG episodes that's watchable too, and that's not like, ugh, what's happening, Christos? The ones that you and I always get stuck together.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly,
what did we just watch?
As far as TOS's episodes go, I can get behind this one.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we would love to hear what you thought of today's show, and there are many ways you can do this. You can join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. You can join our Discord server, or you can follow the network on Bluesky and Instagram at BQN Podcasts to continue the discussion there. You can find the links and invite code in the show notes. So, Christos, where can people find you when you're not snatching up all the caftans in the vendors room? Thank you, Amy.
Excuse me. You can find me in our Discord server. You can find me on Facebook in the BQN Collective. And you can find me on Instagram and Bluesky at Greek Geek SD or at What's the T-Bev. Amy, where can people find you when you're not getting carried across the rotunda in your TMP outfit?
That was amazing. Christos came and swooped me up right in front of the STLV sign. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Well, when I am not there, you can listen to me on Union Federation. We are covering and recapping the Strange New Worlds, and I'm finally going to get to be on there. So find me there, Union Federation. I am on our Discord server. That's my favorite place. And in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. Kelvin, where can people find you when you're not flying nonstop to Vegas?
Yes, please. You can find me on most of the socials at Kelvin's Timeline, or you can find me in the BQN Collective Facebook group, where I shall love seeing all of your posts, memes, and funny messages. And Kristin, where can people find you when you are not being moved to tears by beautiful Romanian churches and architecture?
You can find me on Instagram at kstrats and on Reddit at user GaraksFanClub. I don't know about everyone else. I've been trying to really detox myself from too much social media and just pulling back. So Facebook is now just like, don't even go there anymore, except for late night flipping through Marketplace, because then it's like I'm thrifting from my bed. But yeah, I've just been finding myself not being online much anymore, and it's really good for the mental health. So if you want to chat, hit me up on Instagram, and that's probably the best place. But Reddit is always having really fantastic discussions about Trek, and a lot of photos ending up there from the recent the recent convention as well.
If you'd like to help keep all of our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can join our Hit It episode reaction show, script readings, and enjoy our special Patreon-only shows such as It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Please visit patreon.com/BQN to get all of the details and then watch your messages.
And if becoming a patron isn't your thing, you can still support the show by sharing our posts, sharing this episode with your friends, talking about it, or hitting subscribe button and leaving us a review or a rating, because that really does help others to find the show. And we'd love to continue to build our Trek community here.
At this time, we're going to thank our very own associate producer, JJ Seastrom. Hey, JJ. A special thanks to Graham Kelly for our opening and closing music, and to Kelvin for our weekly artwork each and every week.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you'll join us
as we search out
all good things.